Hello Moto Buddies, this is Mike from Baja Taco Tours. Today we want to take a little tour around a recently completed 2017 KTM 500 EXC-F. This is a bike that we built using all the best components available for the KTM 500s. This machine represents pretty much the pinnacle of what you can do to a 500 KTM in terms of aftermarket performance, parts, and safety and other enhancements. So let's kind of walk through this bike. Start up here at the front. First thing we've done is change the tires. These bikes come with a pretty mild tire. They're a dual sport compound tire that are mainly for street. They're probably a 70-30, 70 street, 30 dirt. And so we've swapped those out to a Motoz. This is a Moto Z Tractionator ST, so it's a soft compound terrain tire, which is great for desert out here for maximum traction. We've also changed out the front brake rotor. This is a Dirt Tricks rotor, and cool thing about them is they're able to, that's upside down, the other side, it's the right orientation. They're able to laser etch in anything you want to put on these rotor brackets here. Very, very trick product, machine tool, steel, incredibly durable. We sprung the forks to the rider's weight, so that's been changed. Up here we have the Baja Designs LX80 headlight. This is a 9600 lumens light, incredible output, low heat, low power consumption, doesn't draw much more power than the stock KTM bulb did at 9600 lumens. I don't even know what the stock bulb is, probably maybe 1500 is my guess. We get these from MotoMinded, Chris out of Colorado. He makes a 3D laser printed surround. This is much better than the Baja Designs surround. Baja Designs light, but MotoMinded bezel back here, and this gives you adjustability with the light, which you don't get with the Baja Designs. So this is a really trick setup. Chris does that, MotoMinded. Up here we've changed some of the things on the cockpit. We've put on these highway dirt bikes bar guards. So what you have here are integrated mirrors inside of really stout and robust bar guard. One of the trick things about this is this big bolt down here is tapped into the bar. So we tap out the threads, we thread the bar, then this bolt goes in and secures that. And so this is the best anchoring system out there. Nobody else does anything even remotely close to this. Great shields, nice and big, lots of robust metal up here. And then what you get is really great mounting brackets. You get this swivel point here, big bolt, and you get a bolt here, and then this all anchors and secures into this top plate. So you get an incredibly strong and robust attachment point. And the other thing that you can get here, you can order these top plates in different configurations. Sometimes they'll have the little holes countersunk in here, and you can have switches on there or status LEDs. Great setup. We throw a USB charge port up here. We also get from Highway Dirt Bikes, Paul, our buddy Paul in Newitt, Colorado. He makes this bezel right here, and what that does is that brings the trip computer up. Otherwise, it's recessed way down in here. You can't see it. So that brings it up to the rider's view. Oh, one other thing to point out, Chris also, MotoMinded, makes this bracket right here. This is also 3D laser printed, really hard to see, but down inside of here there is a C bracket that mounts around the fork leg, and that gives you extra strength here with like the mounting and the weight of that headlight. So that's a premium setup. Nobody else does anything quite like that. Up here we throw in these little Acerbis. These are just little master cylinder guards, give you a little protection there and a loop out for your brake controls. ASV Levers, these are the C6 model. They give you thumbnail adjustability. Your catch points, you can bring that in or out depending on hand size. We put on a GPR. This is the V4 stabilizer. We have a tall rider on this bike, so we've put on an extender. We need to anodize that black, but that gives you, so the GPR gives you, I think, 3/4 of an inch over stock, and then here's another 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4. So bring those bars up to open up the seating position here on this bike. Put on Pro Grip grips. These are, I think, the 916s. We really like these a lot. They have a lot of cushion here, and then we safety wire them for stability. We swap out the stock fuel line here. We put on, well, not the fuel line, but the vent hose. These have a check valve. These free flows have a check valve one way. They'll let air in, but fuel won't leak out if you tip over on your bike. We put on these Canyon Dancer loops. These are for tie down straps in your truck. Stainless steel, really durable. Seems like these will bend and break, but they don't. We've never broken one. They're pretty robust. Also over here on the front note, we have this turn signal. So what we do is we pull off the stock, really ugly KTM turn signal, and then we throw this on. We'll show you that later, maybe at night when the bike's running and those are lit up. We wear these so we get daytime running light out of that and turn signal. Really, really slick product. Those are made by Rage Cycles, I think out of New York. That's a fantastic light. Coming around this side, down here we put on the Torque One shift lever. We like this because this outer band here is it's threaded in, and then you can add shims in here to bring this lever out. So if you've got a rider with a big foot, or he likes to wear maybe oversized boots, maybe he's got a stance where he kicks his foot out so he can grab the end of that shift lever on the outside. We put on these Fastway, I think these are the Air Evolution, yeah, Evolution Air adjustable position foot pegs, so we can get stock height or lower. And since we have a tall rider here, we went with the lower position on those, dropped it down ½ inch or so. Every little bit helps. Here we've got our Rekluse slave cylinder. So this bike has a Rekluse auto clutch in it, and really, really beautiful product. CNC machine. That's a great looking slave cylinder. The other thing too with the Rekluse is because you no longer have, you know, if the bike's not running, then the Rekluse doesn't give you any engine to transmission connection. So if you need to bump start this bike, you'll just thread out this bolt here, count the number of turns that you go out, so you'll just default the auto clutch on the Rekluse, and then you'll be basically a stock manual clutch again, and then you bump start your bike, and then you can turn that back to the original set point to get your Rekluse back. The kickstand here, we went with Hammerhead Designs, anodized, just to put a little bling on the bike. Oh, the other thing up here, we've got a charge port for battery tender on our Antigravity 8-cell lithium-ion battery. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Back here on the rear end, we've got a little bit of bling, but this also gives us more tick points than the stock block adjuster did, so that gives us a little more fine-tuning with our adjustments. We've changed out the rear tire. We have a this is a Motoz Tractionator. I think it's called the Arena Hybrid, and this is a soft intermediate tire. Great tractions, pretty much like a buzzsaw. This thing will rip through any terrain. Great for the desert, great for single track. Wear is a little bit higher than some of the more tires that put a little more meat on the ground, but the traction on this is exceptional. We mount these up with the Moose, so we've got a Moto Z Super Moose in there. Fantastic product. If you've ever run a Moose, you know how it's superior in feel to anything with air in it. The only thing that feels better is the tire balls, but there's some pretty strong limitations with those, so we almost run exclusively Moose. We like the Moto Z Moose a lot. We swap out the rim lock here. This is a Motion Pro. It's a little bit lighter than stock. It has a bigger footprint, so it bites the tire a little bit more aggressively. Resprung here in the back. This is for the rider's weight. If you notice the graphics package, what we did on this bike is we pulled off all the stock orange plastics. These bikes come completely orange. They have the big dorky rear view mirrors up there. They have those dual sport tires on there. So this bike has been completely transformed in look and performance. It's a total makeover in the extreme, and it unlocks the potential of this machine, which is incredibly high. But these bikes are all DOT certified, and when they when you get them from the dealer, they're pretty well detuned and plugged up. So the main goal on this bike was to open it up. So we put on this FMF 4.1. This is the titanium canister. We have the stock header on there, but you can get the titanium header, and they're exceptional. They're saved a lot of weight, and they're just beautiful. So this is the stock header pipe, but we put on a P3 pipe guard, which work really good. Got the Rekluse in here. This is the new Radius X product. They use the thin friction discs, and so I think you get 1 or 2 more discs in there for extra reliability and durability. Little bling here. We've got also these new bikes. So the 17 and 18s do not come with a Kickstarter. So KTM and Husky, they're looking to save a little bit of weight and a little bit of money on those bikes as they sell them. So one of the, what I think is almost a mandatory upgrade is to get yourself a kick lever. So you've got to buy a kit and install that. So we did that to this bike when we did the Rekluse. This bike also has a Hammerhead Designs brake lever. That's a CNC machine product, really slick, lot more stout and durable than the stock one. Again, the Fastway Evolution plugs, a little bling back here. Up in here, we do a heat shield on the header pipe as it transits by the shock, the rear shock, and so what that gives us is about 150 degrees of temperature savings that we cut off that heat that would otherwise be climbing into that shock there. You can see the tight clearances, and that will prevent that shock oil from degrading as quickly as it would otherwise. Back here we have a stock, that's a stock rotor on that back wheel, and again the brake or the chain adjuster here. So that's some of the improvements that we've done to the bike so far. One of the things you'll notice up here as we get into the seat is we've changed out the battery. So the stock battery on these KTMs, they have durability issues. We've seen a lot of them fail. We've replaced quite a few of them, and so we like these anti-gravity. It's tough to see down in there, but that's an anti-gravity battery. That gets us, I think, 9 amp hours of reserve power, and a stock is about 4, maybe 5. So we pretty much double the amp hour rating of that battery, and we get these nice big 10mm posts, and you can throw some of your auxiliary power consuming devices on here. And so this is a dramatic improvement over stock. And when we put these batteries on, we also like to use an Optimate tender. That's a plug and play, no button tender, and that will do the peak charging and drawdown as is required for good durability of a lithium-ion battery. So you really need to mate the proper trickle charger system with your lithium-ion batteries, and the Optimate is pretty much the best one out there, so that's what we use. And then up here you'll notice we've got this JD jetting tuner. So what this gives us is, as soon as you do anything to change the exhaust profile of this bike from stock, then you must have more fuel. These bikes are pretty well lean as it is, so when you do anything to open them up, you need more fuel. So what we do is we put these JD jetting, this is the Power Surge 6X device, and this gives us 6 different map points to add or subtract away fuel. And on these bikes, it's pretty much always add in. So we've upped it at the idle to 1/8 throttle. I think we've gone 2 clicks there, and at different set points we've gone 1 or 2 or 3 clicks of fuel. And so some of this is go by their recommendations, some of it is ride and test, and so we've spent some time fine-tuning this thing and got it pretty well dialed in. So this bike has max performance, unbelievable performance all through the throttle range from idle to wide open. The other thing you might notice here is on the back end, we got rid of the big ugly stock pull down tail fenders. So stock bike gives you the license plate holder and then the turn signals, and it sticks way down here like a foot, no exaggeration, with a big ugly tail light. So we rip all that off and put on a Sicass Racing micro fender with their license plate holder, and so cleans up the bike a ton and gives you a lighter rear fender as well. And then for turn signals in the back, we went with these Moto Gadget. These are glass and beautiful. These are CNC machined glass LED turn signal lights, indicators, and they're fantastic, really bright, and they're out of the way, so we're not going to smash these. These aren't going to get broken off like the stock ones did the first time this bike went over. That stuff all gets ripped off. So we put these on and we bury the wires so there's nothing visible under here. It's all really clean. That wire's all concealed. You also notice here we put on these Tugger pull straps. We have those on the front and rear, and that's if your bike goes off the trail or you need to move it around the garage, gives you a good grab point on your bike. We've got the one up here too as well. So that's pretty much a full 360 on this machine. One of the most powerful dual sport machines. All the magazines love this bike and pretty much say it's the best dual sport made, especially in the 500cc range. So the 2017 KTM 500 EXC-F Extreme Makeover. Go get some adventure, guys. Thanks for watching.